Alright guys, welcome back. So we left off talking about the colonies and how the terrorist leader's daughter, how Exul randomly summed up the strength to actually whoop a little bit more booty. Don't ask me how that's possible, because at this point his muscle should have the muscles in his body from that battle, he shouldn't even be able, he should be paralyzed in the water. That's how fucked up he should be. But he somehow managed at the last minute when she was about to hit him with her Chandra. He was able to get up in a split second, catch her arm, because you know the Shidori Chandra, you cannot block it. You cannot counter it. Well, yeah, there's a certain way you have to counter it. There's a certain way you have to grip the arm and direct the attack away from your body, because even if you do grab the arm, you're still going to get hit, especially if the palm of the hand is facing your body. When you grab her wrist or the palm of her arm or whatever, you will still get fucked up. So you have to grab it in a certain motion and move in a certain way. You have to have the right maneuvers. You have to have the right stance, or you'll knock yourself off balance and you'll still get hit by it. So he was able to do all this, and then after he safely evaded the Chandra, trip her, use her own strength against her, and throw her to the other side of the water. At this point, she was so overcome with emotion, hatred, and all these other things that she just didn't even bother to get back up. She just laid in the ocean, face in the water, just in tears and whatever. It was like a, it was a really good, very good sense, I should say. It really brought out emotion and whatnot. But in this video, I wanted to talk about relationships and get into a little bit more about the background of the characters. Because, you know, I'm just summing things up really quickly. I'm not explaining like in detail what happened from episode to episode, because I know there's over 1,000 episodes. That's why I never really did go back and try to write the story for the TheXezuSeries, because I will probably be writing for the rest of my life. Especially trying to remember all that stuff. I'm lucky I'm able to explain from detail what happened still. So that's how long this story is. So, Exul. We're gonna first cover some background about Exul, because like I said before, he's able to visit alternate worlds, alternate realities. He's able to interact with alternate beings from alternate realities. He basically relied on them as a source to find leads to who he is. So while this series is going on with the colonies, there are parts in the story where Exul is able to, where Exul blacks out for a moment and goes into an alternate reality for a whole series or for a few episodes before he blacks back into reality and it goes back to the colony series. So, beside it just being a colony series, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. We didn't talk about the Craver's Realm, which was the world that Exul originally thought he was from, and the Craver's Realm played a big role in the series too. So far, we only covered basically some of the beginning and basically the main story. We didn't cover the important parts, or we didn't cover the behind the scenes secrets that plays a big role in the story. But I'm gonna stop right there with explaining about Exul, and we're gonna talk about the relationship of Mana and Hintiji and Exul. So Mana, Hintiji, and Exul. At Hintiji, well, see, this is where the Craver's Realm goes back into play, because before. When Exul first started out, he was believed that he was from the Craver's Realm. Craver's Realm. That's where he thought he originated from. That's where he thought his powers was. Because when he first came to Earth, he had these unhuman powers, and I guess this alternate Give me a quick second. I think I did something that took me away from my recording. Okay, there we go. So now I forgot where I was at that quickly. Hold on. So I guess his alternate beings that he was talking to, since he didn't know where he was from, told him that he was from this reality. But in actuality, his some of his powers came from being in that. Part of his powers, because when he was first, oh my God, see, I gotta explain to you the new story that I did to sum all of this crap up in order for you guys to understand it, because he didn't really actually start out on Earth. There was a couple of series before this. There's this other at the edge of the universe. Once, because it is rumored to be no end to our space, but in this series there is, and once you get there, there's like this edge. Once you step off of it, you go into a whole new different reality, which is this almost the same thing but stronger. Exul is originally from the stronger universes, or the stronger reality of our own universe. So he's in one of the series. He steps off and discovers this place, and there's a series that takes place there. He he um he goes there and finds out that that's one of the places that he visited, but that's still not the original place that he belonged to. So there's a couple of worlds that he been to before, when his world got destroyed or whatever. There's a couple of worlds he's been to first. At some of the worlds, he obtained their powers. So when the Exul series started, all we know is that he starts as this being that's on Earth with these unnormal powers. Now, don't get me wrong, he does have his own original makeup, which has its own original powers. But for now, he's using these other powers, which is kind of his own, which he believes that are his own. And he's using these powers, and he's thinking that he's from that world, or he's still thinking that he's a part of that world. So basically, the first series is the Craver's Realm. Exul has white hair and red eyes, is more vampire based, and he has highly reflexes. Um, in this series, this is where he meets Hintigi, and then that's when the Earth series follows, I think, after it. I'm not too really sure in remembering how the sequences went, but I know the Cravers Realm was this world where Hintigi, Exul, and Mana were able to gain instant access to and leave Earth temporarily. So yeah, and that's another reason why Exul was able to adapt so well, because of those powers from the Cravers Realm. But he did feed off of humans and um, slice people up and shit for a moment. I think that's so that I think yeah, that's part of the Ica story before the village. So Hintigi and been a part of the story almost from the beginning. But then after he meets Hintigi and stuff, there's another character called Mana, which is believed to be Craver too, but she's Craver and Crimson. So at the same time, um, they're from this world they think is called the Craver's Realm. And in the Craver's Realm, there's these races called Cravers and Crimsons. Mana's mixed with both of them, and on their planet, that's kind of impossible for both of them to be mixed, because Cravers and Crimsons, once upon a time, they were enemies of different military systems, and they were not allowed to mate. So I have to explain that story. In no way am I going to try to remember that, because the cluster fuck plot twist of that story is just insanity. It's just really insanity. That's why I think one of the reasons why I took it out the series and made it what it was. So let's just go to the relationship of these people after the Craver crap, when they were more involved in Earth instead of Craver's realm, because Craver's realm did get destroyed and they couldn't go back to it after a while. So, and that's before the Colony series, guys. so, uh, so yeah, Exul and Hentaji's first encounter with Mana. Um, Hentaji, uh, Hentaji is my nephew's character that's put into the series. He created Hentaji, and I think he also created what race he was, which was Crimson. And we both we put his character and related it to the Craver's realm, and related their background to the Craver's realm at the time. So here we have Hentaji, and Hentaji decided to create another character, which was supposed to be his girl, named Mana, which is a mixed race of. She's just a mix with Crimson and Craver, guys. So yeah. At first, Amanda, I didn't tell you guys this. Exul is very manipulative. If I worded that correctly, he is. He will. He as a Craver, one of his powers was to manipulate people and be very. How would you say it? Uh, so I guess he was a very good con artist. Hold on again, guys. The recording, you know, it's doing what it want again. Uh, so yeah, Exul is a very manipulative. So at first, Mana was Hentaji's girl, but Mana had more Craver's instinct than Crimson, so she started to turn towards Exul. And Exul, knowing him, Exul is kind of a delinquent character as a Craver, just to let you guys know. So Exul noticed this and took advantage of it, I think. At the same time, he did lust her because she was part Craver or had more Craver Jin. So it was a very funny love plot to the story. Hilarious, guys. If I wrote the story and explained it or role played it or acted it, you guys will be fucking cracking up because it's stupid and funny at the same time. So when Hentaji found this out, he was, oh my god, his soul, his his self being was just destroyed. And we always made a comedy part where whenever Hentaji saw Mana and Exul together, he would have nightmares or he would go into this trance state and go into a loophole of he'd just go into this mental loop and just panic and stand in one spot or ball up into a corner. It was very funny, and to this day we still do that plot in the story because while they did date at one, while they dated at one point of the story, eventually they departed and they didn't get along as well. But Mana always liked Exul, even though she hated him. So in some stories she would start to try to like him, but Exul's such an ass that she would eventually stop liking him and start to hate him. There's a lot of comedy parts with that. But overall, when Exul did take her seriously and Amana took him seriously, they would kind of get close. And that's the part where we would use the comedy sense with Hentaji. And Hentaji, and that was a long time ago. Hentaji to this day still doesn't, he gets uncomfortable, I should say. So it was always funny using that comedy sense with this story. Okay, that's a little bit of background about Zelm. I think I should stop there because I just lost everything I was talking about. Remembering this shit is just so funny. Um, I will do another video after this one or something. Peace.